Hey, what's going on, y'all? I'm back, and I've been working on this other video because this shit gonna be good. I'm telling y'all because it's information coming out, but motherfuckers is not putting it together. So that's what I'm working on. But I done had to stop working on that video so I can put this shit together because I was getting quite a few emails about the camera that was supposedly above the freezer. Okay, and listen, understand this. I don't think there was a camera above the freezer, not directly above the freezer. Okay. And so this person that I was emailing back and forth, and I ain't gonna even put your ass on blast. You know what I mean? I don't do that, but I'm about to put the information out there because I want y'all to see it the way I see it. Okay. And if there's some shit I'm missing, shit, tell me. You know, it is what it is. But this is a video that I put together to show my position on why I feel like there was not a camera directly above the freezer. Okay, so let me just show y'all what I'm talking about. You know, I ain't gonna even hold y'all. So when we look at this right here, this is a still shot from the camera that remember I showed in the last video. Everybody was pointing at, everybody was acknowledging this camera right here, and this is a still shot. And look at the angle of it. This is what I want y'all to pay attention to, the angle of the camera. Okay, and of course when you look directly back there by the freezer, no, you can't see the freezer door, but it's right there. Okay, and then also take note of the fact that there's no exits back there. Look what's back there. And this is one of the photos from the from Rosemont. Ain't shit back there. You got like some circuit breakers, electrical boxes, whatever the fuck you call them. Then you got this freezer, and then there's a little room right there. You know where the door is open. That room, and then you got the sink. Ain't shit else back there. Okay, ain't nothing else back there. So understand this. When I showed that last video, I showed y'all these officers right here. Everybody's acknowledging the same camera. Okay? We didn't see them point out no camera by the freezer. We didn't, we see them right here. Look at him. He's pointing at the same camera. Okay? The same camera that caught Kenneka walking in this kitchen, supposedly. Okay? Yeah, so I went looking for information about this damn camera directly above the freezer. Okay, and one of the things that this person was emailing me about, he was like, "Oh nah," he said, "This guy right here, the corner dude," he said he took the camera. That's he claimed that that's what he had in that plastic bag. Then he tells me, he said, "No, no, no." He said Miss Teresa said there was a camera directly above the freezer. And I was like, okay, well, that was some shit I didn't remember where it came from. I heard it, but I didn't remember where it came from. So I went looking for shit, and I'm about to show y'all what I found because I wanted to hear what Miss Teresa had to say. So listen to this.
Do you believe they're saying that the one part of the video when she's walking towards the refrigerator, that's her last time being shown on videotape? So do you believe she could have just literally walked in there and got locked into the freezer? And what they're saying to be true is she got locked into the freezer and she died because of the coldness. Do you think that could be true?
Well, see, we wouldn't even be sitting here today to guess it. It was the camera. As we went in there, if you could look at the video, me and my daughter, which is some of the parts what we did, as we went in there, I'm looking at my daughter, and I looked in her face. She had a disgusted look on her face. That's an angry look, like, or somebody agitating her, this type of look. So I'm looking, and then I asked them, I said, "Can I see the freezer?" Because I work in the cafeteria. So you can't tell me that she walked in this freezer and couldn't get out, because of our freezers. And not only that, me working within the CPS, cafeterias, before, every freezer has a release button or some type of handle, whereas you can't get locked in this freezer unless you're been locked on the outside. You get locked in
Okay.
from the outside.
Which would have taken, obviously, somebody else to do
To
purposely.
do it, right.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
what you're saying.
Yes.
There's no way she could lock herself in by herself.
Exactly. So once entering, and I see the freezer. Now the leading detective stated to me, she just walked in the freezer.
Mm-hmm.
This is before I told him I worked within the cafeteria.
Right.
She walked in the freezer, and when she walked in the freezer, she walked in. He never mentioned it was a double freezer. Walked in the freezer, closed the door behind herself, and just froze to death.
Right.
So, I wanted to see it.
Yeah.
I said, so she couldn't get out? He said, no, she couldn't get out. Because once you locked in, you locked in.
Right. But he doesn't know what you know about freezers at that time.
Exactly.
Right.
Did you go into the actual freezer that your daughter was in? Did you try to see what your the theory, how you can get out of it if you're in that particular freezer?
Okay, well, I'll tell you like this. We wasn't ever to actually go inside their freezer, but they had both of the doors open. I asked them when I first went back there, so you're saying it's a double freezer? He said, yes, but on our way back there, if you can see in the video, I'm pointing my finger. I'm looking for cameras. I'm looking for cameras because that's my purpose, because you can't tell me this happened with no camera in around, and every time I point, I see a camera. Except when we go by the freezer, that's blocked off, which it was a camera above that freezer. And, okay, we're going to go back to that. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Okay, so understand this. I'm Team Teresa. Don't get it twisted. I'm Team Teresa. But this shit right here had me scratching my motherfucking head. Because at certain parts, y'all heard what she said. She said on the way back there, she said she's looking for cameras. And I told y'all in the last video, Miss Teresa not stupid. This is a hotel we talking about. It's got to be cameras. And she said her purpose was looking for cameras, okay? But she said that on the way back there, they saw a camera, okay? And then she said everywhere except by the freezer. She said because it was blocked off or something. But then she turns around and say, but there was a camera directly above the freezer. So I was confused by that. Is she talking about this one right here where we see the officer point up? Because she's saying that she asked these motherfuckers about the cameras. And we see them on video, which in this interview, she referenced the same video. So, yeah. Let's listen to what else she had to say.
Exactly.
So from the city of Chicago, so you do not agree with the simple story of your daughter walking into the freezer and freezing to death. That is not acceptable to you.
That's not acceptable.
Okay.
Especially when it was cameras that should have showed not only besides the back of her, but the front of her as well. It was a camera directly over this freezer.
They haven't showed us images of that.
I know at the meeting, the closing of the meeting,
Yeah.
I asked the detective and also as well as the sergeant. And the sergeant said aggressively, there wasn't no camera. So I guess the camera disappeared too.
Right. Because all the images we've seen are her walking through the kitchen, but then she disappears and we don't see her actually walk into the freezer. But you're saying there was definitely a camera there.
It was definitely a camera there.
Okay, so now on this part, she's saying that, of course, there's a camera directly above the freezer and that her daughter, Kenneka, should have been seen from the back and from the front. Okay? And understand this. I don't believe there was a camera above the freezer. I don't know maybe if there was something there that maybe looked like a camera. I don't know. But I'm a true believer. I don't believe there was a camera above this freezer. And after looking at all the information, and I'm going to show y'all that here in a minute, but after looking at a lot of the information, it seems to me like Miss Teresa is the only one saying that there was a camera above this freezer. Nobody else is saying this, okay? And I found the Dr. Oz interview. And in this interview, she's there with Lenore. She's there with her attorney. And they started to discuss the cameras. So, yeah, listen to this.
We asked about the alleged surveillance camera. You mentioned there was one above the freezer.
Yes.
Theoretically would have seen her walking in or someone dragging her in.
Yes.
Right, whatever needed, because that's a big question. How do you get a big heavy door open?
Yes.
Right? And here's what the state. I wasn't there, but they were. And they say there is one motion censored still camera inside the kitchen that points in the area of the freezer, but does not show the door of the freezer. so they couldn't actually see the door itself. We followed up with the Crown Plaza Hotel itself, where Kenneka's body was found, and their spokesman stated that no video shows her entering the freezer because we never had a camera there. So Larry, how do you respond to that?
I went to the Crown Plaza and I did a walkthrough of the area. They had some 46 or so cameras there, and there were cameras that should have captured her progressing, apparently, according to them, toward this kitchen that did not capture her, and they claimed they weren't working.
Okay, so his client is saying that there was a camera directly above the freezer. When his ass started to talk, he ain't said shit about no freezer camera. Okay? He said that there was about 46 cameras. He said and a couple of them should have caught Kenneka progressing toward this kitchen. But he said that those cameras in particular were the ones that they told us did not work. Okay? Those are the cameras he talking about. And y'all remember that list that came out? This list. Where they told us which cameras were quote unquote inoperable. We had the kosher kitchen, the stairs by the kosher kitchen. We had the freight elevator. We had the main elevator, the back office, employee parking, and laundry too. So, in my opinion, these are the cameras that he's talking about. And again, he ain't said shit about no freezer camera. And I know a lot of people want to believe that there was a camera above this freezer, but I really do not believe that. Now, one of the things that I found odd about this, and I did a video about it, so if y'all ain't seen it, go on and watch this shit. It's like the missing cameras and the real path, because I feel like the cameras that they told us did not work, in my opinion, holds the information that we need to solve this shit. I really do believe that. Especially these two cameras right here. Because these cameras would have caught her coming up the steps and going into this kitchen. But we, of course, we don't have that footage. They wasn't working, supposedly. Okay? So, yeah. Now, we all know that Lenora was with Miss Teresa. Let's listen to what Lenora had to say.
There was also concern about her being locked in, possibly. Like, was there a padlock or something on the outside?
They found her in a double freezer. You had to go through one freezer to get through another freezer. But before you enter that freezer room, it's a camera right there. My mother asked them, did the camera work? The man said, the police officer said, detective, he said, I'm not sure.
So
Now he say, you told my mama, you can see video, whoever entered that room before, the thing, before you got in there, you can, yes, you should be able to see it, because it's a camera right there before you enter the room.
This is the camera that I think Lenora is talking about. Because if you listen to what she just said in this interview, she said, before you enter the freezer room, there's a camera right there. Okay? And like, again, I think she's talking about this camera right here. And then she also said that her mother asked them if that camera worked. And I think that's, again, this picture right here where we see what looks like Teresa asking about a fucking camera. Now, understand this. Miss Teresa and Lenora were together. Okay? If Miss Teresa seen a camera back there, shit. Lenora should have seen one too. But she ain't mentioned shit about no camera directly above the freezer. Again, ain't nobody saying that but Miss Teresa. And it, like I said, it could have been something that maybe resembled a camera, and Miss Teresa just assumed that it was a camera. But when you look back here, now, like I said, there's no exits back here. In my opinion, it wouldn't make sense to put a camera back here if that one motherfucking camera catching everything coming and going. You can't come and go from back here without being seen on that one camera. There's nothing back here. Now, again, I could see if there was an exit, then yeah, I would believe that there was a camera back there if there was an exit, but ain't shit back there. So the only way to come and go out this kitchen, you would be caught on that motion sensor for that one particular camera that everybody kept acknowledging. So again, it didn't make sense to have a camera back there when you got this one camera catching everything moving around this motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? And like one of the other things that the guy that was emailing me, one of the other things he was saying was like, oh, well, yeah, it would have been a camera above the freezer to protect their assets, to make sure like motherfuckers weren't back there stealing food and this, that, and the other. I said, okay, wait a minute. First off, one shit in there, okay? Wasn't no food in this freezer. And then second, even if you had a motherfucker back here taking food, you still gonna catch them on this one camera right here because you can't get in and out of this area without being seen on that one camera. Now I told y'all that the guy that was emailing me, he wanted me to believe that the coroner dude was the one that took the camera. And the screenshot that he sent me was from this footage right here. And yeah, they was back there doing some shit. Did they look suspect? Hell yeah, they did. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what he was trying to put in his coat. None of that shit, okay? But I don't believe that it was a camera. And then look at the time. It's 4:58, okay? 4:58. Like I said, yeah, he did look suspect. But I don't believe that this guy removed a camera from back there, okay? And we all remember this footage right here. Miss Teresa and them back here in the kitchen viewing Kenneka's body. This was at about like 5:05, okay? So what you want me to believe is that the coroner dude took the camera at 4:58, but then when Miss Teresa got back there at 5:05, she seen the camera? That shit makes no sense to me. It don't fit. Now, I don't know what that coroner dude was doing back there. But you can't tell me that he took the camera and then 10 minutes later, Miss Teresa said, oh, nah, I seen the camera back there. So when the fuck did he take it? You understand what I'm saying? When did he take it? Man, listen. Like I said, I do not believe that there was a camera back there. And then not only that, when we see the beverage manager go back into this kitchen, like I said, I don't think we're dealing with a camera back there. I think what we're dealing with is a blind spot. And when the beverage manager took his ass back there, he was comfortable enough to do whatever the fuck it was he did back there because he knew that there was a blind spot. He knew that there was no camera above this freezer to see exactly what he was doing back there. Because we don't know what he did. I'm convinced he didn't go to find Kenneka. But like I said, he was comfortable enough to do whatever it was he did without being seen. He knew he wasn't going to be seen. He knew the blind spots. And I think that's what we're dealing with right here, man. I think that's it. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here because I got some other shit coming. And like I said, I'm working on one that's going to be a little long, okay? But I'm going to put up a couple of them that's some short videos for y'all because it's a couple people that I want to put the spotlight on because I feel like we just need to look at them a little bit closer. So y'all ride with me, stick with me so we can figure this shit out.